Have you ever dreamed of ordering a croissant in Paris without feeling lost in French? In this video, I will show you how I went from beginner to fluent in French in just 1 year. I will share tips and tricks that made it possible and how you can master French to enjoy all the croissants you want. Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Monvie. So let's get started. Just a little disclaimer, before learning French, I already knew Spanish. That's one of the reasons why it took me just 1 year to learn French. So it also depends on your prior knowledge and overall what languages do you know. But if you know English, it can help you with French as well. So just don't look for excuses and start learning, taking a course. I look for free courses online. You can usually find them on YouTube. There are plenty of them there. You can learn the basics on this course. Basic grammar, vocab, pronunciation, tricks, and all that stuff. Especially, it will be great if you have in that course some kind of practice. For example, writing sentences with several grammar tenses. Usually, taking a course takes 1 month, 1.5 months, but I think it's more than enough because you should really know when to stop. It's by continuing learning basics, you don't actually grow. You're just staying at the same place. I remember how it was difficult for me to finish Spanish course because I understood that, okay, now I'm in free swimming, I need to look for information by my own, like to learn new grammar tenses, new vocab, improve my comprehension. Yeah, it's scary, but everyone who learns foreign languages seriously faces this stage. Watching YouTube. YouTube is your best friend when you learn a language. Here, you can learn much more than from grammar books. So I started watching French YouTube from the first days of my learning. But before this, I advise you to create a separate email for French content on YouTube. By this, you'll have only French content in your feed. And it's really very helpful because you don't need to look for all of these videos by yourself and to waste your time instead of actually learning that French. After creating, just look for several videos in French, subscribe to several French channels, and voila! Now you have plenty of French content. As for what to watch, you can watch absolutely anything that you want. If you like cooking, watch that. Sports, self-development, books, painting, you name it. Furthermore, watch only those things that you're interested in. Then you'll be able to use all of this vocab that you learned from these videos in your daily talks. When I was watching YouTube in French, I couldn't understand anything for 6-7 months. I was just watching, could catch several phrases, but with consistency and time dedication, I reached that point that now I understand everything. So don't worry if you don't understand everything right away. It's a normal thing for every language learner, especially with such language as French, as French pronunciation differs from other languages. And even if you know Spanish and Italian, you will not be able to understand French right away. It will take some time. So, how did I reach that point of perfect comprehension? As by simple passive watching, you barely learn something. Each time when you notice an unknown word in a video or when you listen to something, especially pay attention to those words that are used quite often, write them down. Check their meaning or explanation, then learn them. Oh, of course, don't forget to come up with examples. It's also very important, especially thanks to expanding your vocab, your comprehension is improving. Speaking with yourself. I started speaking normally in French not so long ago, several months ago, because I was convinced that if my comprehension is bad, I would not be able to speak. I started from simple phrases with knowledges that I already had. For example, I learned new grammar tense and I could just come up with several sentences using these tense. Or even simple conversations with myself. How are you? What have you done today? You name it. Reading aloud also helps with your spoken French because firstly, you get used to your voice. And now, like speaking in French, for you, it's not something strange and so cringy. Secondly, you become more confident in French pronunciation. As you know, it's really tricky. So, after learning all those rules about pronunciation, read aloud. And only after that, you can start speaking. As you can see, it really takes time. You can't just start speaking right away. When you feel that your French is more or less confident, you can start talking to people, for instance, online or on Discord, exchange websites. I usually start doing that in a couple of months after starting learning this language, as I want to have a normal conversation, not just bonjour, comment ça va, bon. Can we switch to English, please? That's not my goal, so of course, I want to be prepared for that conversation, reading aloud. To be frank, I could understand French texts from the beginning of my learning journey because I knew Spanish, so for sure it helped me hugely. But as for reading them, I mean in terms of pronunciation, all this stuff, of course, it took some time of practice. That's why don't start reading in French right away. Learn the basics of pronouncing sounds first. Really, I can say you that French is very tricky, especially its pronunciation. One single and peaceful mistake can become a huge problem for you because you're just making it even unconsciously. For instance, two similar words can be pronounced completely differently because of the order of letters in this word. The same E is pronounced differently here, père and femme, or the situation with I, fille and femme. Oh, and there is another side. There are so many words that mean different things, but they are pronounced identically. For example, oie, mère, mère, son. What is that? French. Yeah, in this case, you can get it just from context. Now about what I was reading and still do. Most of the time, I just generate text on ChatGPT because I'm so used to that. It's very convenient for me. You can choose any topic and ask it to add the vocab that you need to practice. You will not be able to find that anywhere online. Then you can ask it to explain to you several words and even make a test to check your comprehension. One more useful thing for learning any language is social media. Personally, I am subscribed to plenty accounts on Instagram in French. Some of them are about learning French, others about self-development and just, like life phrases. I can say that I use social media only to consume some content in the languages that I learn. Otherwise, I don't want to waste my time listening to music. Actually, music was the reason why I started learning French. So for sure, I listen to it a lot. Of course, solely by music, you will not be able to learn any language, especially French. But in any case, by listening to it, you improve your comprehension skills. And by the way, when I learn new words in French and then I hear them in one of these songs, it's easier for me afterwards to remember them because I already have this connection, like they are used in a certain context. You can sing along with the singer as well. Just find the lyrics online. Yeah, I advise you definitely to look for them because you can mishear something and then you'll make this mistake over and over again. And I still have this situation when I'm listening to a song, I hear this one specific word, but when I decided to check the lyrics, I realized that the singer was singing about something completely different. Also, music helps hugely with improving your pronunciation, as you're trying to copy this singer. It's like shadowing technique, but more effective and exciting. Learning grammar with ChatGPT. You can learn not only grammar there, but pretty much everything. As for me, I use it mostly for grammar, new words, texts, and words explanation. So it's like a personal tutor which can correct you and provide you really useful feedback. Now, as for prompts, If you want to learn a grammar tense, you can just ask it, write me 20 sentences in French in passé composé, but I want to fill in the brackets by myself. So you can do this task in your notebook. I usually do that in order then, after asking for correct answers, just to check myself. If you want to expand your vocabulary there, you can write something like this. Write me 20 most used daily words with explanations and examples. Then, in order to memorize these words better, just ask for a text with all of them. Write me a text with 500 words in French using these words. And after this, you just add words that you want to practice. Then, because it's not the end, you can ask it to offer you several questions about this text. And usually I can talk to myself using these questions, discuss a topic found in French. I do this with all languages that I learn. And it usually happens during first days of learning when I know almost nothing about this language, but I like challenges. That's why I do that. Despite that fact that when I switched to French, I had such a strong desire to switch back to Spanish, as I couldn't understand absolutely anything. So, how can it help you with improving your French? Firstly, your main language in your phone is French, so everything in it, even social media, as you already know where are all the buttons, what they mean, so it will be really easier for you to learn all of this. Of course, I'm not talking about long messages from your phone system, because in this case, it's better to use Google Translator, because you can just push that button and it will have not that good consequences. But overall, it's a good practice. You just integrate French into your life, and there is no need to wait for a month before switching your phone language to French one, because words on your phone differ from those that you learned on that course with basics. So waiting doesn't really change anything, and the earlier you change your phone language, the better it is for you. That's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you soon in my next videos. Bye!